their attribution setup there is accredited with the less click attribution for these media channels, they essentially credit those platforms for users that probably already been engaged with the brand in an organic way.
In 2026, shielding an expanding brand from skyrocketing user acquisition costs, it requires looking past static reporting dashboards to deploy autonomous and reallocate budgets in real time.
Stop thinking about what I will do with AI in the future and start to think what I'm doing today to actually influence my P&L. Because the era of buzz, high terminology is over. The market is actually expecting real results.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Today we are breaking down the algorithmic architecture of programmatic media buying, cross-platform signal unification, and evaluating incrementality metrics over traditional attribution models. In 2026, shielding an expanding brand from ad fraud, fragmented device channels, and skyrocketing user acquisition costs, it requires looking past static reporting dashboards to deploy autonomous, self-learning recommendation engines that dynamically adjust bids and reallocate budgets in real time. Joining us today is Yaron Tomchin, the Chief Executive Officer of Mobupps, a dominant global frontrunner in performance-driven advertising technology with a legacy spanning over 17 years. Yaron is an elite ad tech innovator and a master strategist who has spent more than a decade pioneering advanced cross-platform solutions for mobile, web, connected TV, and OEM environments. Under his visionary leadership, Mobupps operates a robust internal R&D infrastructure powering its proprietary MAFO, RTB, and MobuppsX tech stacks. He oversees a highly collaborative, culturally diverse team that scales performance metrics for top-tier brands across Fintech, iGaming, and e-commerce global markets. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Yaron, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Now, Yaron, many mid-market e-commerce and fintech brands, they rely entirely on standard post-campaign attribution metrics to provide, assuming that those reports are completely accurate data. Let's start the conversation by understanding how is artificial intelligence changing how advertisers measure impact and why prioritize incrementality over traditional attribution? Go ahead.
Yeah, so look, I say today that actually the legacy attribution is a fantasy. The market is really changing, and today the sheer amount of data that is coming, the complexity of digital advertising, that the amount of different medias are really overwhelming the especially small and medium businesses. For small businesses that are running their campaigns across the walled gardens, and by saying walled gardens, I mean Google, Meta, Apple, if their attribution setup there is accredited with the less click attribution for these media channels, they essentially credit those platforms for users that probably already been engaged with the brand in an organic way. So we at Mobupps, when we run campaigns, we always ask ourselves a very brutal question. If this specific ad buy create incrementality for a specific brand, if this user that we deliver to the brand actually is an added value for the brand. If not, it's a cannibalization. And that's something that AI enable for small and medium businesses to analyze this data and make very wise decision and to stop any waste of ad spend.
Definitely, I think because this technology was only available to the corporates or the giants before, right?
100%.
Now,
And they have the resources to implement analysts, analytical
right.
platforms, analyze everything. It was
Yes.
really resources, high resources task to understand this cannibalization and incrementality. But now it's available for everyone.
Exactly. So I think even with the small and medium businesses that don't have such a budget, they can easily now, the level playing field is equal for everyone involved. So that's amazing. Now, let's explore how automation and self learning systems are helping marketing teams eliminate inefficiencies and make faster decisions. So, Yaron, what inefficiencies prompted the need for automation, and how can leaders boost their team's output according to you?
Yeah, during the past couple of years, I paid attention that, we have a very talented team
Yeah.
and very talented marketers that are spending 80% of their time just, what I call the spreadsheet prison.
Yeah.
They just sit inside different spreadsheets. They will copy data from one place to another. They will hunt for some reporting dips. They will do repetitive manual work.
Yeah.
And that's a very talented marketing people, creative people that spend their time and actually waste their time. And then we understood that we need to change it. So initially what we done, we call it an AI summit.
Mm-hmm.
It was happening probably a year ago, where we call all our leadership to come and speak with their teams and identify several opportunities, challenges that we might address as our first plan. Once this summit happened, we roll out the plan that is built from, I would say, 3 layers of AI and technology implementation in our company. And we are still into this plan. It's a technological transformation that our company is going through. The first layer is to provide the team the best possible resources, provide them pro accounts to the different LLMs and GPTs, and some team members that are coming with specific initiatives for code vibing, for autonomous agents developing within their team, provide them the tokens and the resources, almost unlimited resources, let them run and build everything to automate their work. The second layer is about training and feedback. So we constantly run surveys once in a quarter, run surveys to get the feedback from the team. What are the current needs? Because the market runs so fast, right?
Yeah.
AI technology
It keeps
updates,
changing.
always changing, new technologies, new updates, new ways to work with these technologies. Today, Gemini is the best. Tomorrow, it's Claude. New analytic technologies, agents, competitors. You need to take all the information into account before you make your next step. So we constantly get this feedback from the team, and based on this, make decision. And most important is the training, because not just throwing a pro account for a team member doesn't mean he can really get the maximum of it. So training the people how to speak with those LLMs and GPTs, how to use them, and with the relevant nuances of every team, be it finance, marketing, account management, sales, it's very important. And the third layer, it's the development layer. So the standard teams, not always they have the time and the skills to develop complex agents.
Right.
So we deploy our dedicated development team that built from data scientists, ML engineers, developers. Not everyone probably have the resources for it, but you can always outsource it for another company. But once you see a major opportunity to deploy such agents that it really create a game changer for your business, you need a dedicated development team to deploy, to understand the needs, to work with the commercial teams, identify the scope of the work, and build these agents or this automation for the teams. That's free so much time for the team members and for the human being to do things that AI cannot do.
Right.
It's free time for them to build relationship with clients. It's free time for them to think strategically and deal with really critical things.
Definitely. I think that was a very well balanced answer because with AI now in the picture, the true essence of what a human can do can now come onto the surface because AI is going to take the repetitive tasks away and the mind is going to be free for the strategic business development part of it, right?
Yeah. Many people say that AI will change people, and people who are not needed anymore, but I don't believe it's the case.
My next question to you was just this, that with so much happening and technology taking over, a lot of the industries or organizations are in this threat that, will AI replace the human part of it as well? So what do you think about it?
I think we do need to we do need to allow people, give them all the tools, give them the needful training, and using these tools and being trained how to use them well, and additional complex technology,
Great.
we need to expect from our team to do more within the same time, right? That's given because the market is changing. And if you stay behind, you will lose the competition because other companies will do it.
Yes.
I don't think we need to change our people because people are critical for some of the tasks. And even the AI is very important to be controlled with certain gatekeepers that, get the approvals, make the strategic decisions. So people eventually get some junior account managers or junior developers, and that's the AI. So they can speed up their work, they can accomplish more, they can be compensated more because their revenue is growing, their profits are growing, they can manage more, they move quicker. And if you want to be competitive, that's a necessity today.
Beautiful. And building on what you've said, Yaron, I'd also like this opportunity to talk about the Echo AI.
Yeah.
So please go ahead and educate our listeners about how does Echo AI optimize live programmatic auctions and what's basically the engineering behind the concept of it.
Yeah. So probably I will answer it by more strategic answer and not technical answer for the listeners.
Yeah.
Eventually, most of the small, medium businesses spend 100% of their budget on the walled gardens, on Meta, Google, and Apple, right? And imagine yourself, outside of these walled gardens, you have tens of thousands of TV channels.
Yeah.
You have hundreds of thousands of websites. You have millions of different apps. That's the open web. It's a tremendous opportunity to expand your reach outside of those main media platforms.
Mainstream media.
Yeah. We always tell our clients, of course, first of all, spend on those platforms. They're the biggest ones. They're the best in terms of performance. But today, they're also very competitive.
Yeah.
The competition is severe. The prices are rising. So in certain stage of a business, you will reach a ceiling. The cost of expanding further will be high, or you won't be able just to catch your audience because the competition is so severe. So the opportunity for open web is enormous opportunity, but it was always very overwhelming for the medium and small businesses because the amount of data, the complexity of how to manage it was just impossible.
Right.
So what we done, we built this Echo AI, this, you can call it like a traffic controller, if to explain it in a simple way, that sits in our infrastructure and actually listening to the traffic, listening to the auctions, to the programmatic auctions, and make real-time decisions if the traffic is bad, if it's good, if there is certain opportunities. So it's surface those opportunities to the team, alert to the team about certain instances they need to take action.
Okay.
That's open enormous opportunity for small and medium businesses and for Mobupps to tap into the open web and expand an incremental reach for new audience, or even the same audience, just on a more cost-effective way.
Again, this is revolutionary what you are, explaining, because this is going to change the entire workflow operations of how small and medium businesses operate, right? And that's also fascinating because real-time optimization is changing how businesses manage not just the operations, but also the advertising and the branding part of it. To the growth directors, app developers, and e-commerce executives watching. In 2026, letting overlapping ad exposure or early cannibalization drain your marketing capital is a massive threat to your margins. Backed by 17 years of performance advertising pedigree, Mobupps has officially rolled out Echo AI, the next generation self learning decision engine fully integrated across the MAFO, MobuppsX, IRTB technology suites. By continuously interpreting live streams across mobile, web, and CTV channels, Echo AI generates automated, real time recommendations that slash user acquisition costs and maximize long term lifetime value. If you are ready to eliminate spreadsheet bottlenecks and verify that every single ad dollar drives verified net new revenue growth, visit mobupps.com today to audit your campaign pipeline. Secure your global scaling trajectory with a verified industry powerhouse. It's time for a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll explore how audience intelligence is helping businesses expand into new markets with greater confidence. Stay tuned.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back. Let's dive into how data driven insights can help brands scale globally while minimizing risk and unnecessary spending. Now, moving ahead, I'd like to touch upon how capabilities can help businesses expand successfully across international markets and diverse audiences as well. Because you talked about the market on, the people on Google, Meta, all these places. But geopolitically, the borders are opening as well. So, from that perspective now, Yaron, how can companies leverage audience intelligence to expand internationally without overspending on testing and trial?
Yeah. The market, the world is getting globalized, right?
Yeah.
There are no borders, and it's very simple to just penetrate new market, open your campaigns to India, to China, to Latin America. It's very easy today. But the common mistake we do see with business owners, with entrepreneurs, is that they try to copy paste their core market activity to a new market. And that creates a lot of tests and trials and waste of time and budget. My recommendation to business owners is twofold. Number one, and that's how we do it in Mobupps, is first of all, learn about the new market you are going to. There are certain cultural nuances. There are certain aspects about user behavior. There are certain, distribution channels. You need to learn about the market. We in Mobupps hire dedicated people in every market we are going to. So we build the go-to-market plan with them, together with them. The second part of my recommendation is not only to, plan your strategy based on the market need, but also to use synergies from your core market activity and to build bridges between your core market and the new market in probably a couple ways. Number one is you have certain data. The user behavior, eventually a user is a user, right?
It changes.
Some cultural nuances, but a user is a user.
Right.
So you don't want to do a cold start. You might use your best techniques and your best targeting options in a new market. So that's number one. Secondly, about creating bridges. You want to think what kind of synergies you can create between your core market and the new market you are expanding to. For example, in Mobupps, we done very successful penetration into APAC, and we build a bridge between West and East.
Yeah.
So we identified that in APAC, there are many game developers that want to acquire users in US. And we identified that in US, there are many publishers, media suppliers that want to monetize their media and they're looking for new incremental demand. So that was the connection. That was the bridge and the synergy we built between the market. So it's twofold, right? You, of course, learn and give the market the needful respect, but also don't do a cold start. Use your synergies, use your data to penetrate the market.
Wow, I think that's a very practical approach because it's twofold, right? You're creating the demand and also supplying for it, right? So the demand and supply thing is very tricky. And you're so passionate about what you do, Yaron. I'm super impressed and also super inspired, by meeting you. So let's do a little time travel now. Imagine if I were to give you a time machine and we were to go 5 or 10 years into the future. When you get out of the time machine, how exactly do you envision ad tech changing or evolving over the next 10 years?
Oh, wow. Big question, but
It's a long shot, I know, because if we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So from that perspective, use your imagination and paint us a picture.
Yeah, but it's something we as a business owners always need to ask ourselves because we like captains, we need to navigate our ship, right, to the right direction. It's happening slowly, but it's always happening. You need to be on the watch and to adapt yourself to the market changes. I think, recently I've been traveled to different events and conferences. I've been into India for clients roadshow. I've been into Vegas for one of the biggest mobile events in US. I've been into Europe for some marketing events. And through all these events, I think I identify 4 main changes that are happening on the market today. Number one is the involvement of CTV inventory and the CTV strategy. So the mobile and the desktop markets become very crowded and very expensive and very complicated to manage. Brands are always compete about user attention. I see a lot of budget of our clients shifting into CTV because it's a big screen and it's a very easy way to catch the user attention. And today there is technology with AI and with the new measurement capabilities, there is technology to actually understand the contribution of CTV for a certain brand. The second thing I see is about attribution. We spoke about this at the beginning, but it's not simple as it been anymore. Brands need to understand that if they pay for the same user, if they use different technologies to analytic technologies on TV, on web, and on mobile, probably they're paying for the same user a couple times, and it's a waste of budget. So the attribution becomes very complicated, and you need to do your due diligence and work with the right vendor that give you the precise data and the ability to manage all your attribution, as we spoke about incrementality, cannibalization across devices, across different geos in the most efficient way. We spoke about the market become very complicated, so consolidation is happening, and I see it a lot across all over the place. And brands and companies, Adtech companies like Mobupps, who understand this complexity, they try to offer their clients a wider variety of products because you want to get like a one-stop shop. If you work with a certain marketing or Adtech vendor, you want him to give you ability to run campaigns on TV across all the devices, web and mobile. You want him to open for you the open web. You want him to manage the walled garden. So companies are acquiring and merging with each other because they want to easy the brand the way to acquire new user and retain them. And probably, vendor choosing is not anymore any like operational decision. It's a really strategic decision, taking into account everything I mentioned before. It's a really strategic decision, and I really recommend people to do their due diligence, audit, and choose the right vendor because that's your strategic growth.
Wow, you've painted quite a picture there, not just for yourself, but also where the world will be in the next 10 years, right? And that is amazing because staying ahead of data, privacy, and technology shifts will be essential for businesses looking to remain competitive in a rapidly evolving market. Now, I'm loving this conversation, and definitely I'd love for you to be back, hopefully, for a deeper discussion or a series that we do the next. But for now, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you have for our listeners today, specifically SMBs who are not sure what to do now with, so much noise that is happening out. If you could whisper one thing into their ears to reassure them, what would you say and why?
I would say stop thinking about what I will do with AI in the future and start to think what I'm doing today to actually influence my P&L, because the era of, buzz and, just high terminology is over.
Yeah.
Now everyone, clients, suppliers, the market is actually expecting real results.
Yeah.
And my recommendation is that, whatever you do, pay attention how it optimize your OpEx, how it optimize your CapEx, how it improve the efficiency of team members, how it save time, actual results that contribute to and advance your company. I think it's very important to focus on extreme execution of this process, transforming the company to be relevant to the market, because there is a tectonic shift that's happening. So the execution is very important. And I think the future belongs to companies that know how to combine, empower their people with the right tools, the right training, and combine this technology with the most talented people. That's where the future is.
Beautiful. This was such a balanced podcast episode, Yaron. And with you, you're so passionate about what you're doing. So a question that comes to my mind before we wrap this episode is, how did you get into doing what you're doing today? Is business, entrepreneurship, tech something that you were inclined naturally as a kid as well? Or did you maybe stumble upon this in your career? So what's the story there?
Oh, wow. So many years ago, actually, I'm with the company 17 years.
Uh-huh.
And
That's a long time.
I'm one of the founders, and I'm with the company 70 years. And through the years, we've been through so many transformations. It's always about, monitoring the market and thinking how can you really add value and make happy clients. And eventually, if your client is happy, everything else will happen, right?
Right.
But
how did you get into
doing
this? Yeah.
As a kid, I was thinking about entrepreneurship, and I was involved in some small kids entrepreneurship initiative, but nothing really major. And as in these movies and the stories, after, during my university times, we were sitting with two school friends, and some opportunity was ahead of us. And we were planning on, in some coffee shop, we were planning on a piece of paper, just couple plans, how to open this company. And there is opportunity to represent certain publisher and sell their media in Israel. And this opportunity grew to what we are today, just because couple friends sent and plan, and we were not afraid to just jump into it and try.
Wow, this shows that any risk that you're, able to take, this will what it can result into. So this episode is no less than an inspiration for me, for everyone involved. Yaron, it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here and doing this.
Thank you very much again for the invitation, and it was a big pleasure for me as well.
All right, that was Yaron Tomchin from Mobupps, a masterclass in moving past superficial ad metrics to measure true incrementality, utilizing the newly launched Echo AI engine to automate active programmatic auctions, and understanding how independent ad tech stacks protect your scaling capital ahead of Mobupps feature at China Joy in 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more such resources. To learn more about how we are supporting the ecosystem, please visit the CanadianSME Small Business Foundation at smbfoundation.ca. And lastly, a very special thank you to our partners, UPS, our shipping partner, and ADP, our HR partner, for their ongoing commitment to empowering SMBs across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.